Hi, good day everyone. Today, my name is Manoj Kolam and I'm going to present my session for Introduction to Machine Learning. So, I hope you are all excited to see what is machine learning about and how what does a machine learning is and where do we use that. Alright, we're going to jump into the session. Before doing that, we'd like to know what the things you have done today, like where we are using our machine learning. So I can go ahead and post something. You can scan the QR code and choose what you had been used today. Okay, so you can take your cameras, point at the QR code, and let me know what's your thought about it. Right, I'll just give you 2 minutes of time to scan the code and select the option. Based on the option, we are going moving forward. So not only this, had you ever seen any machine learning in our day-to-day life apart from this? Any answers from the audience? That'll be great. Okay, so I suppose we had received some uh, responses from the audience. The thing is, all this uses a machine learning. When you come to the Netflix, it recommends you some shows based on what you had seen it. And Google Maps, it's going to predict and it's going to algorithm, it's going to change the time based on the destination. YouTube, it's going to recommend the videos based on your viewing. The emails, Gmails, it's going to filter out the scraps and spam based on your the filtering path. So all users machine learning, even our phones uses a machine learning in it. So AI in it, right? So now we'll like to learn what is machine learning is all about. What is machine learning? The machine learning is how we teach a machine to recognize the pattern and to predict the future or make the predictions. It's not only the predictions like the classifications, like to group it like whether it's a boy or it's a girl or anything can be done based on that. So here what happens if we consider the general programming and data, you write the program, you give the data and you get the output. But in the machine learning, you give the data and you say to the machine that this is the output and you figure it out what the patterns are in. So instead of writing a simple rules and for every situation, we feed the massive amount of data so that it can able to recognize what patterns present in it. So the machine learning is then built a model to allow it to intelligently make it decisions based on the new data which has never seen it. So what is that? Like suppose you had tried so you will have some data and you feed into the machine learning and you had getting the output for that. You're making a prediction or you're making a classification, all that stuff, right? But the new data has been given to the machine learning or the model. So it's going to make the predictions out of it. That's what the data which has not never been seen. So the next slide, this slide is going to give you the simple idea about how what's the programming is and what is the difference between the machine learning is. So the traditionally is you have a data like the different data which may be present on your hard disk or anywhere else. So that data is given with respect to the program. The program write down and you fetch the data and you give to the computer and the computer generates the output just like you have a big array or you have to add some 100 numbers. You give the 100 numbers, you write a program to add all the 100 numbers and you'll be getting output for that. But when it comes to the machine learning, the same data is given to it and it says that, hey, figure it out and my output should be this. You do that something. So it's going to figure it out what it has, what is the data and what is the output it is coming out. It's going to find the pattern and it is going to give out the model for us like so that if whenever you feed some data like this, so it's going to get the same output or different output, but the process what it is going to encapsulate here, it is going to get it into the another things. So what is all about, like what are we going to learn by the end of this thing is defining the machine learning. We define what is machine learning, describing the main types of machine learning, what are the different types of machine learnings we are in a broader view, and identifying the real world machine learning application, and participating in a thing what we are going to do it, right? So like jump into it. Then before going to it, I would like to go ahead with some small pre-assessment to understand what do you think the machine learning means. So here I'm going to give you 2 minutes of a time what you are understanding about the previous one, so that either session will be an interactive one with the things. So I give you 2 minutes of time, just go ahead. The people, if you are unable to say it, what are the different options? So one is, what do you think machine learning is? Programming explicit rules, or learning from the data, or teaching the humans to code? So choose one option which suits more. Yes, I suppose we got some responses, and I'm moving forward with the next slides is about what are the different types of machine learning present in it. So the machine learning can be classified into three types. One is supervised, the other one is unsupervised, and the third one is reinforced supervising. Excuse. There is another way is called semi-supervised learning. What is all this about? So we're going to see what it is in detail with one another, right? So in supervised learning, we give the training data and we decide output labels. We give the labels to it. Like this is the data, this is the input, this is the output, and we are going to give the labels, and we are going to try. This machine learning is going to learn the patterns in it. Unsupervised learning is nothing but you give the training data without giving a desired output. You don't give the output. So the machine learning itself has to identify what it is. The next one is semi-supervised learning. So here we give the outputs, but not for everything. Like only for the desired sets we give the output, and we give the training data. So to it going to refigure. The reinforcement learning is the one where we see with rewarding for the sequence of action. So where we can best see this one is in a gaming, like a computer playing a game. So or instead of teaching them what is right and wrong, you're going to give a reward to it. Like if it does right, give a reward. If it doesn't, take it out, punish that system. So that's how the reinforcement learning is. So to have a classic example, suppose assume that my handwriting is very bad. Like assume most of the handwritings are very bad, and you want to figure it out what it is. Right. So let's jump into a classic example of a task where machine learning requires to find lesser 2. So this is a classic example. So it's going to pick up based on the data we give it, and we are going to say that, hey, these are all the letter 2s. So find it out in this. So this is going to find out all the possible things which are represented as a 2. This the green highlights that, as you see here, this is a green color box that indicates that it is very confident, and wherever the red indicates that it is not confident, but it's trying to figure it out whether it is a 2 close to 2. So that's how the machine learning trains out. Okay, then we'll see some more examples based on this to understand what it is. It's not only this, like we have a different examples, something like some more examples of the tasks are the best solved by the machine learning. What are they? Recognition pattern, recognizing the pattern, the facial identification, facial expressions, like whether you are angry or you are sad or you are uh, uh, enjoying it. So that is another one is written or spoken words, like you type, instead of typing it you speak something, it's going to recognize that. And medical images like x-rays and all that thing, and generating the pattern. generating a patterns, generating the images and motion sequences from your still images, and recognizing the anomalies as unusual credit card transactions, the patterns or sensor readings, and the prediction of stock market prices and currency exchange rates and the flat rates and all the things comes into the future. So how do the machine learning learns, and what does we do that? How does it do that? So what is the learning is all about? Like here, if you see that these are the inputs. So these are the features is nothing but the set of inputs, attributes, and independent variables. We all together will say it is an input to a model. So and it may have different outputs, classes, label, targets, output on depending upon what we are learning it. So you give something and your model is trying to do something and it is going to get the output. So likelihood or maximum, and depending upon the number of iterations, it is going to give you the output based on that. So take an example, like how do we train a decision model tree? It's a different models present, right? And we are taking a decision tree model. So it has a sales data of individual representatives and an NA for 2026 to 2010. The one of this column is in the overall condition ranking values from 1 to 10. The goal is to try and find reclassification of the model which can predict whether overall the condition is low or high. So we can, this is an example of the link where you can download the data, and this are small examples to see how good you can able to make it out. So once you download it, so in the analytic platform, there import the workflow, the right click on that and select the claim workflow and choose the model and import the experiment elements, whatever you wanted it. And here it is going to done, and this is going to read the information and it is going to extract the classes of information. So I just give you a 2 minutes or a 3 minutes of a time to follow the steps. Going back, and we can able to see that, right? So, and where we can use the different models. The first example is autonomous cars, right? So where the Nevada had made it legal for autonomous cars to drive on the roads in July to Jan 2027, 2011. As for 2013, and right now there are many states in the US has allowed to use the cars. So the next example, we can go with the machine learning with automatic speech recognition. You give a speech and it's typically recognizing and model it is going to. So it extracts the features through using a neural network. The modulations take it out and decodes that, and it is going to transitive or a language model. Hi, it's going to respond it as a hi, how are you? So depending upon the number of the hidden layers, words error rates, and all will be classified here. This is an example taken from this particular thing. Right, and this is an anomaly detection. So this is your normal training set, this one path, and this is a predictive path, and this is where you're going to get the output. So whenever it has an breaks, so it is going to predict this is an anomaly, it has been detected. Whatever the spikes it has an anomaly. So it's going to trigger it and it is going to get you the things. So next one will go with our post assessments, like what you understand with all that stuff. Okay, some examples, some questions for you. The audience, like supervised learning uses what type of data, whether it's a labeled or unlabeled. So take 1 minute time to scan the things. Once you're done, once we have all the information, we move on. Yes, thank you for your response, and we are moving on. Scan the QR code and let me know the MLs learned from what type of thing it is. scan the QR code and get me the number of the waiting for the audience response. Some of the applications where we can see the machine learning is web search, computational biology, finance, e-commerce, space exploration, robotics, and any your favorite area as well can be included into it. So the summary, as we conclude that machine learning helps the computers to learn from the data. There are three types of machine learning models we had looked into it. One is supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So there are the different applications we can able to use into it, which is not limited to email filtering, health, and autonomous cars. So thank you for your any questions and feedbacks are welcome. Simply learning is making the missions and the mind smarter. That's a proverb from the line. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that. Okay, thank you. We end the session here. And next session, we are going to see a much deeper into the machine learning. Thank you, everyone.